Hello, I'm Phil Hilton and welcome to the Holiday and Cruise Clinic, the programme that gives you the opportunity to ask our raft of experts any questions you have on any aspect of holidays, cruising or travel in general. Later on we'll also be taking a look around a popular holiday destination in our resort report. But first, here's how you can get in touch with your questions. Visit our website at www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk. Click on Programmes, select the Holiday and Cruise Clinic and select your questions online. You can email us, clinic@holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk, or alternatively, we'd love to hear from you with your postcards and letters. Our address is the Holiday and Cruise Clinic, Cavendish House, Liverpool L22 5NG. And who knows, we could soon be asking the experts your question. So let's see what you've been asking. We have Bob Dixon from P&O Cruises, who I think it's pretty safe to say knows a thing or two when it comes to cruise holidays. Bob, good to see you. We hear that levels of service are good. Is this the case on cruise ships?
Yeah, I think this is true of every cruise line that you come across, in that we have crew members who have worked sometimes into the third generation for that cruise line, and they are intensely proud of what they do. And we have customer care programs and service initiatives, but even so, sort of fundamentally, these people, they live and breathe and are passionate about service. And this comes down to the small things, where they can add value to your holiday that doesn't necessarily cost any more money. So, for example, it's not chocolates on the pillow or bottles of wine in the cabin. Yes, we do that, but it's the small things that really make the difference to the customer. Do they remember your name? If you order a drink at a bar once and you like your gin and tonics, for example, with lime rather than lemon, are they going to remember that second time round? So one lovely story was my parents. They took their grandchildren on one of our ships, and every night the waiters would come at the pudding time to my niece and nephew. They're about 7 and 4, and they had a little plate covered with a napkin, and they said, and you can look at this, but only after you finished your pudding. And you saw 2 little spoons going like propellers, and in it was only a chocolate frog or something, but it just meant that the kids finished their meals. There was none of the family arguments about are you going to finish this or not, and they'd engaged with them, they'd played with them, and my parents and their little kids have been made to feel special. And I think that's what it's all about, that everyone who works on board knows that the customers deserve to be made to feel special.
Because people have their own ships, don't they, that they like? People who go cruising like a particular ship for that reason.
There's a lot of loyalty. The ships, probably more so than hotels or even resorts, they do develop a personality of their own. No ship was more famous or more loved than QE2, that was with us for 40 years. And people sort of superimpose certain sort of characteristics upon the ship, and that makes them the characters that contribute to part of your holiday. You know, or the ship was a bit bouncy today, or the ship was very slow, or the ship was very dignified, or she was very shiny or polished. Particularly the older the ships, the bigger the loyal following that they have, particularly those that go around the world. Because there are people there who are on board for 100 days at a time, and they know every single member of crew, they know every rivet, pane of glass, everything. And they are passionate about the ship.
Yeah, it must be quite difficult to find these people to be on the ship that need to offer that level of service, that are those characters.
No, in that we have, sorry to disagree with you so blatantly, but we have recruitment specialists around the world who know exactly the ilk of person, the type of character that we want. After all, they are going to have to live themselves for some months at a time in the confines of a ship. That can't be easy for everyone, yet still they've got to remember to smile, remember to be service-oriented every single day. And it is a certain ilk of person, and we're very good at finding them.
Oh, good. Oh, excellent. Well, OK, I've bought my ticket. I'm on the ship. I'm about to have my holiday, but I'm stuck on the ship, aren't I? I'm a captive audience. Am I going to have to pay for all these incidentals and everything as well?
Well, I'd like to point out the ships do actually stop off places. That's the point of a cruise. Other than transatlantics, of course, because if you stop anywhere on transatlantic, you shouldn't be stopping on there, should you say. But no, yes, this is a popular misconception that a lot of people think, well, I'm a captive audience, they've got me on board, and now they're absolutely going to clobber me for, high prices. Well, On our ships, you pay about £2.85 for a pint. Now, I don't know what you pay in your local, but in my local, I pay about £3.15. So I would say that's pretty good value.
Okay, that sounds good.
And so a glass of wine is sort of £2.65, £2.70. Bottles of wine. Now, you can go from £15, £20 a bottle for a very good bottle to $500 a glass, right, depending where you want to go. But so it's a very, very broad church, and we cater for all tastes. But it really is important that we get rid of this misconception that you're going to be ambushed. That's what pirates do. We're not pirates. we're in the cruise business, and we like to think that our prices on board are very fair.
Okay, and obviously for the children as well, you'd include that too, wouldn't you? Because often if you're having a soft drink, if you don't want wine or beer, you're often penalised for that too, aren't you, on shore?
Yeah, I think, I mean, we know that what is best for families, if they know that they can budget their holiday in advance and there are going to be no nasty surprises. So largely, everything is pretty much paid for in your ticket price. The only things you need to budget for are some postcards for when you get off, ice creams, but everything else you can buy on board in sterling, not in foreign currency, so you're not going to get clobbered on money exchange, you're not going to end up with fistfuls of dirty old notes that you can't change back, and so it's all absolutely convenient. So you've got the convenience of a staycation, if you will, while seeing the whole of Europe.
Yeah.
Well, surely that's the best of both worlds.
Absolutely, absolutely. Will I have to bring my smart bib and tucker, though, to get dressed for dinner, and is there a dress code on board I have to abide by?
Well, this varies across all the cruise lines, and you can go from the formal cruise lines, where you would be expected to have dinner jacket with you, and typically on a 14-night voyage you'd maybe be wearing it between 4 and 6 nights. Then there's also the semi-formal option, which is sort of a jacket and tie, and smart casual. Generally speaking, the cruise lines are on that continuum somewhere, and it's all entirely up to what you want. There are some people who think, oh my gosh, I wear a business suit every day of my life, I would hate the idea of taking a dinner jacket with me. Fine, and there are cruise lines for you too. There are other people who think, gosh, well, I don't get enough opportunity to dress up normally. We want to take all our ball gowns, and of course you can, because there's no weight restriction if you're sailing out of Southampton. So as many ball gowns and shoes as you like.
Tell us about the food on board, because it's one thing that's very close to my heart, but also there are various levels you can have and enjoy food when you're on board, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely. A cruise, Phil, is an absolute gastronomic odyssey, and I think pretty much on all the ships, choice is in abundance. So there are buffets. There are times maybe you just, I just want a quick snack, and I don't want to, go through the formality of sitting down and reading a menu, and just go and grab something light and easy, or a salad. There are pizzerias, there are burger bars, there are seafood bars. On some of the ships, we even have caviar restaurants. But by and large, you can eat 24 hours a day, if that's what you want, right? I'm not necessarily condoning it, but it's available. And a lot of the ships now have signature restaurants from well-known chefs, people that you may know off the television, people like Marco Pierre White, Michelin-starred chefs like Atul Kochhar, French chefs like Jean-Marie Zimmerman. So absolutely fantastic dining quality, but match anything that you can have on land for a real Epicurean delight to celebrate on a special occasion. Often they have a small cover charge, but relative to what you'd be paying on land, they are fantastic value for money.
Of course, and not at the other end of the scale, but included in that, if I don't like to go abroad very often, I don't like continental food, not too spicy, anything like that, what about something that I'm used to, the kind of cuisine I'm used to at home?
Well, typically, on any evening meal, there will be typically 4, 5, 6 choices of main course, 4 or 5 choice of starter, and almost limitless choice of pudding. And if there's something that you want every day, because that's what you like, then you can have it every day. But they will range from spicy, exotic food to food that you are familiar with, and particularly on P&O Cruises, if I can just mention that, we cater for British tastes, and we have a lot of dishes that will be familiar to everyone, and the popular favourites that everyone knows from home.
Good advice for now, Bob. Thanks very much. Thanks to Bob from P&O Cruises. And if you have a question for Bob or any of our experts, here's how you can get in touch. Visit our website at www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk. You can email us, clinic@holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk, or alternatively, we'd love to hear from you with your postcards and letters. Our address is the Holiday and Cruise Clinic, Cavendish House, Liverpool L22 5NG. And who knows, we could soon be asking the experts your question. Well, time for us to take a quick break right now, but do stay with us, as when we come back we'll have more of your questions to put to our panel of experts, plus we'll be delving into our resort report. I'll see you in part 2. Welcome back to the Holiday and Cruise Clinic. This is your chance to find out all you wanted to know from our holiday, cruise and travel experts. Still to come, we'll have our latest resort report. But if you're wondering how you can get your questions answered by the experts, then here's how to get in touch. Visit our website at www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk. You can email us, clinic@holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk, or alternatively, we'd love to hear from you with your postcards and letters. Our address is the Holiday and Cruise Clinic, Cavendish House, Liverpool L22 5NG. So let's see what you've been asking. To accompany my meal, if I'm dining in whatever kind of area I want to go and choose from, a drinks package would be good. Is there such a thing on board the ship?
There are, on some of the cruise lines they offer drinks packages. In some cases they come as soft drink packages, so you can buy almost a limitless beaker of Coke or Fanta or whatever it is. And on other cruise lines you can buy your wine in advance, and you can order bottles of spirits to your cabin with your favourite mixes. I have to say that in not every case do you actually need to do that, because the cost of drinks on board on some cruise lines is very good indeed, and absolutely competitive with anything that you may know from your local at home.
Okay, and because I'm having such a wonderful time, we hear about these indulgences of wonderful restaurants, brilliant drinks and everything. Am I going to come back looking like the side of a house, or can I actually work some of it off on the ship as well?
Well, yes, we don't like our customers to come back looking like Moby Dick. Right? So every ship, absolutely every ship, has some kind of gym with very, very modern equipment. On Ventura, we have mountain bikes, not just the cycle, where you can actually race against the guy sitting next to you. So going down on a screen, you still got to pedal. It's not all downhill. And they have keep fit classes. They have Pilates, aerobics, spinning. You can burn many thousands of calories every day, and then go and take them all back on board.
Okay, is this talking from personal experience?
Absolutely.
I think it's important that you sample the merchandise, obviously.
Yeah, you know, they do make us go on the ships, would you believe? And it is nice to touch the product and really get an understanding, because otherwise, if we didn't know what we were talking, if we didn't see it through the eyes of the customer, we'd find it very hard to relate. And I'm happy to say that me and my colleagues have all been on every one of our ships, and we know what we're talking about.
The difference between a land-based holiday and a cruise ship, you know, why should we do one against the other? What's the difference?
Gosh, well, Phil, if I may, I'm going to tell you a little story. When I started off in travel, I was a holiday rep in the Austrian Alps, and my boss said to me, he said, whatever you do, don't ever ask customers, is everything okay? Because they will always find something that isn't. So I took this and I abided by it. But when I escorted my first cruise back in 2002, I think it was, I thought I'd put this theory to the test. Now, I had 200 passengers on board, and I walked around all of them and said, is everything okay? And they said, yes, it is, actually. I said, oh, come on, there must be something. They said, no, everything's okay. So honestly, I've come all this way. And they really couldn't find anything to complain about. And I think the reason is cruise is going through a period of massive growth. A lot of new ships are being built. So a lot of the hardware is brand spanking new, and it is faultless.
But I can be quite boring when I go on holiday, because I want to sit around the pool with my book and do nothing sometimes. I don't want people coming around and say, do you want to come and do volleyball, or do you want to come and do archery or something? Will I have to do that if I'm on a ship?
Absolutely not. It is for you to do what you want and when you want to do it. And although that may sound a bit crazy, every day you get a newspaper, a ship's paper of what there is to do on board and what time it's happening and where it's happening. So if you want to go down the one end of the ship where there's a big party, where there's a big get-together, everyone's joining in some kind of activity, you can. If you want a quiet corner to finish that novel, absolutely you can do that too. But there are other things, there's so much to learn. You can go on courses, you can learn, oh I don't know, pottery, painting, wine tasting, napkin folding, hat making, Photoshop, all that kind of thing.
Sure, because not everybody's going to be a party pooper like me all the time, wanting to be quiet and reading my book. You know, I will, after a couple of days and I've chilled out, want to go off and do something then, because I need something to occupy my brain. And there's plenty of that to do as well.
Yeah, there's plenty of that to do. And of course, let's not forget the kids, right? We have kids club that's aimed at the various age groups, so it's not a one-size-fits-all. And we know that teenagers want to do something very different. A lot of computer games, a lot of music mixing, sort of they got mixing desks or whatever they are, I don't fully understand it. But also for the younger kids, you've got your traditional paints and plaster scenes and games and fantastic, amazing kids facilities on all the ships.
So nobody gets bored really, do they? There's something for you to do, depending on what kind of mood you're in.
Absolutely, and we know that not everyone is going to be in a party mood 24 hours a day, and there will always be one area of the ship where there's something going on, and another area, usually at the other end, where it's peaceful and quiet and you can do whatever you want to do. And
you won't necessarily have to pay extra for these, or are there some supplements for some of the activities?
There are some supplements for some of the activities where materials are involved. So typically if it's pottery making or something, there'll be a small supplement for that. But and there may be small supplement for some of the tuition. Sort of, I did a course in Photoshop, for example, in my last cruise. But by and large, the majority of the activities are included in the price.
Now that's great when you're away at sea and you're enjoying yourself, but you get to port quite a lot on these holidays. Excursions are a big integral part of being on a cruise. You can either take them or you can't you?
Yeah, exactly. We organise excursions in every port that we go, and these are guided by locals for our passengers, and they will take you to the highlights of where we're going, but it's in a very quality way. They're not going to take you home past their brother's carpet shop. You know, so we are very careful with the people that we work with, and there's a vast array of things to do if you want to. If you want to do your own thing, you are welcome to do that too. And certainly a lot of the cruise lines now organise free shuttle buses from the port to either the nearest town centre or certainly to the railway station if you then want to go into the city, because the ships do dock they don't always dock in the city centre. So
what you do, you have to be fairly organised, don't you, if you want to make sure you get back to the ship before it goes?
Well, yes, absolutely. If you're on one of our organised excursions, obviously we'll get you back to the ship in plenty of time. But when you get off the ship, when you disembark, there is a great big sign there saying this ship is going at such and such a time. So make sure that you leave yourself plenty of time to get on by then.
Okay. Now, if people want to get in contact with anybody who's on board while they're away, for example, I mean, it may not be necessarily for bad reasons. It might be to wish them happy birthday if they're on holiday or something like that. Is it really difficult to get in touch with the ship if it's in the middle of the ocean?
Absolutely not at all. First of all, with your pre-departure documentation, you get a notification of how people could get in touch with you, what number to call or what email address to write to. Secondly, mobile phones work on the ships, most of them at any rate, and pretty much every single ship has email as well. Now there are a few rare circumstances where the ships are sort of in a communication black spot, and it tends to be when they're in the fjords, the very steep sides of the fjords. There you don't get the satellite downlink to the ship, but frankly you don't want to be on email there. You want to be looking at those amazing fjords.
Absolutely, brilliant advice. Okay, thanks for joining us again, Bob. Thanks to Bob there from P&O Cruises, and don't forget, if you have a question for Bob or any of our experts, here's how you can get in touch with us. Visit our website at www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk. Click on Programmes, select the Holiday and Cruise Clinic and select your questions online. You can email us, clinic@holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk, or alternatively, we'd love to hear from you with your postcards and letters. Our address is the Holiday and Cruise Clinic, Cavendish House, Liverpool L22 5NG. And who knows, we could soon be asking the experts your question. At this point in the programme, we stop and have a look at one of our favourite holiday destinations and give you a quick guide, so when you go, you'll know exactly what to look for. Today, we're in Malaga.
Welcome to Malaga, the capital of the Costa del Sol, and your gateway to the stunning region of Andalusia. If this is your first visit to Malaga, you're in for a pleasant surprise. That's because beyond its reputation of high rises and hen weekends, there's a thriving city just waiting to be explored. In fact, Malaga is cosmopolitan and cultured, full of fascinating sights and diverse architecture. So, what is there to see in Malaga? Highlights include the historic forts of Alcazaba and Gibraltar Faro, which were built to protect the city centuries ago. Also located nearby is a remarkable Roman amphitheatre that lay undiscovered until 1951. Another of Malaga's historic landmarks is the magnificent cathedral. Towering over the city, the cathedral is affectionately known by locals as the One-Armed Lady. And of course, like all good Spanish cities, Malaga has an attractive old quarter that plays host to an array of atmospheric cafes and traditional tapas bars. You can't visit Malaga without hearing about its most famous son, Pablo Picasso. The legendary artist was born at this house in 1881, and it was here that he began to show the first signs of his creative talent. Experience Moorish Spain with a visit to Alhambra Palace in Granada, one of the world's finest examples of Islamic art. It's said that everyone should visit the stunning Alhambra at least once in their lifetime. For a traditional Spanish day ashore, the whitewashed town of Mijas, which is perched high on a hilltop overlooking the Med. Or perhaps you prefer Nija, with its dramatical coastal views and its vast caves. Alternatively, you could head to Marbella and Puerto Banús to witness the wealth and glamour of Spain's most exclusive resorts. As you've now seen, there's so much more to Malaga than meets the eye.
And we'll have another resort report in our next programme. Don't forget, if you have any holiday, cruise or travel related questions, do get in touch. Visit our website at www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk. Click on Programmes, select the Holiday and Cruise Clinic and select your questions online. You can email us, clinic@holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk, or alternatively, we'd love to hear from you with your postcards and letters. Our address is the Holiday and Cruise Clinic, Cavendish House, Liverpool L22 5NG. And who knows, we could soon be asking the experts your question. Well, that's it for this edition of the Holiday and Cruise Clinic. Do join us next time as we'll be answering more of your questions. But for now, from myself and the rest of the team, goodbye.